For this project, you can use any type of yarn that you have. I'm going to be using this cotton yarn. It's 60% cotton, 40% acrylic. And with that, I'm going to be using a size 3.5 hook. You will need a pair of scissors, a yarn needle, and a stitch marker. So to begin, we're going to grab our yarn this way. I'm using 2 strands at the same time, just because I want my yarn to be thicker, but you don't have to. Just use whatever yarn you have. And if you want to double it, you can also do that. This is just a great way to thicken up the yarn without buying a different type of yarn for a project. So to start, we're going to start with a slip knot. So make a loop like this and hold on to it. Go into the loop, grab the yarn and pull through. And this is our slip knot. You want to grab your hook and insert and just tighten it around the hook. So from here, we're going to chain 4, and we do this instead of a magic ring. So yarn over, pull through. That's 1 chain. Yarn over, pull through. That's 2, 3, and 4. So now we have 4 chains, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're going to make a slip stitch on the very first chain we made. And this will create a circle that we're going to work out of. So take your hook and insert into the very first chain that we made. Yarn over, and we're gonna pull this yarn through the first chain and pull it all the way through like this. And now it might look confusing, but if you just spread it apart, you have actually created a circle. So these are our chains that we made, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we just connected it on the top. So this creates a circle, and this is the circle that we're going to be working out of in the middle. So to start, we're going to chain 1. This doesn't count as a stitch. So to start the first row, we're going to insert our hook into that circle right here. If you pull it apart. So insert your hook into that middle circle, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. And this is our first single crochet. And I'm going to take my stitch marker and mark the first single crochet so we know where to join in, like this. So now we need to make 5 more single crochets, so we need 6 in total. So that was our first one. Again, we insert a hook into the middle circle, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through both. So that's 2. Again, we go into the circle, and at the same time, I'm keeping this tail on top of my hook, and we're crocheting around it as we go. So yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through. So that's 1, 2, 3. We need 3 more. Insert, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through. 4, 5, and the last one. 6. So now we have 6 single crochets. You can always count back your work. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, including the stitch marker. So now we can actually take this little tail and pull on it, and it should close the middle. So just pull, and it closes up the middle like this. So now to move on to row 2 and close this row by doing a slip stitch onto this first single crochet that we made. So take out your stitch marker. We're going to insert our hook into that single crochet where the stitch marker was. So our first single crochet, yarn over, pull through, and pull through all the way. So this is our slip stitch. Now we're going to chain 1 to start the new row. Chain 1 does not count as a stitch. So now we're going to place 2 single crochets in each of these single crochets. So if we started with 6 single crochets, if we add 2 in each, at the end we should have 12. So 6, 12. So to place our first single crochet, we're gonna go into the very first single crochet right here, which is the same one that we did the slip stitch into. So insert your hook into that first single crochet, pull up a loop, yarn over, and pull through. So now this is our first single crochet of this row, and again we're going to mark it like that. Now we need one more single crochet into that same stitch since we're increasing. So into that same stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through. So now we have 2 single crochets in first stitch. Now we move on to the next stitch right here, and we place 2 single crochets again into that next stitch. So insert, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through. That's 1. And into the same one, we make another one. So that's 4. Now we move on to the next stitch right here. Insert, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over. So in here we need one more. So insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through. Now we move on to the next stitch, which is right here. You can see the V. If it's hard to tell, you can always just spread your stitches so you can see. So this is our next stitch. So we're going to insert and place 2 single crochets. That's 1. Again, that's 2. Now we move on to the next stitch. Insert and place 2 single crochets. So that's 1 and 2. Next stitch, insert, yarn over, that's 1 and 2. So you can count back your work, and we should have 12 stitches. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12, including the stitch marker. So as you can tell, this is the slip stitch that we did, and this is the chain 1, which are not stitches. So you can always count back your work to make sure, and do not place any stitches here because this is a slip stitch, just to join the rows the same way we're gonna do one right now. So we have 12 stitches. We started with 6, now we have 12, and now we're going to do the same thing again where we place 2 single crochets in each of the stitches. So we will go from 12 to 24. So again, take out your stitch marker, and we're going to insert our hook where the stitch marker was, which was our first single crochet, yarn over, and slip stitch all the way like that. Now we're going to chain 1 again, which does not count as a stitch, and we're going to place 2 single crochets into that same stitch. So insert, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through. That's 1. So this is our first single crochet, and again we place our stitch marker back on. We need 1 more in that same stitch, so insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through. So we have 2 single crochets in the first stitch. Now we can move on to the next. In the next right here, again we will place 2 single crochets, 1 and 2. Now we move on to the next. 1 and 2. So continue making 2 single crochets in each of these stitches, and I will meet you back here. So at this point you should have 24 stitches. You can count them back. Again, this one is a slip stitch, this one is a chain 1, so they don't count as stitches, so we don't put any stitches. We already have 24. So now we're going to take out the stitch marker again. So for the next row, again we're going to slip stitch. So insert, pull through all the way, chain 1, which doesn't count as a stitch again. So for this row, we're not doing any more increases. We're just going to place 1 single crochet in each of these stitches. So right now we have 24 stitches, and at the end we'll again have 24 stitches. So to start, we'll place our first one where we placed our slip stitch. So that's 1. And we're going to place our stitch marker back on. So that's our first single crochet of this row, and we just continue. So moving on to the next stitch, we place 1 single crochet, next stitch, 1 single crochet, and so on. So just keep placing 1 single crochet all the way around, and I'll meet you here, and we should have 24 stitches. So again, we have 24 stitches. This one is a slip stitch, so we're not going to place any stitches there. So now we have 24, and for the next row, we can start to change the color. So to change the color, we're going to take out the stitch marker. We're going to do a slip stitch, but instead of the white, we're going to slip stitch with the next color. So insert your hook. I'm going to drop this white, and I'm going to grab my next color, which is blue, right here. I'm going to hold on to it on the back and hold it like this, just so it's easy. And I'm just going to yarn over and pull through both of these stitches like we usually do. So that's 1 and 2. And you can just tug on the white one to make it tighter, like this, to tighten the stitches. So from here, we're actually going to do slip stitches all the way around for the next row. And that is because that is what gives us this clean look. So you don't see the stitches being stretched out, or usually you would. So we're going to do 1 row of just slip stitches, so that way we have a cleaner look. So first we're going to chain 1 to officially attach the yarn. And now we can start slip stitching. So the very first one will be in the same stitch where we slip stitched. So insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, and pull through all the way. So don't complete a single crochet, we're just doing slip stitches. So that's our first slip stitch, and I'm going to mark this one as well, so we know where to connect. So that's our first one. Now we move on to the next stitch right here. Insert, yarn over, and pull through all the way. Into the next one, insert, pull through all the way. So just place 1 slip stitch for every single stitch until we go all the way around. Now we'll meet you back here. So we have 24 slip stitches, and again we can join right here. So take out your stitch marker. I'm going to insert my hook into the middle of the stitch instead of the full stitch like this. So I'm going to go through the V like this through the back loop. So yarn over, pull through all the way. That's our first slip stitch. Now we're going to chain 1, and we can start making the petals. We're going to be working through the back loops only, which means instead of the full stitch like this that we normally work through, we're going to be working through the back loop only. So not the full V, but just the back loop. So to place the first one, we're going to do 1 single crochet into that same stitch where we did the slip stitch. So I'm going to go through the back loop of that, pull up a loop, yarn over, and complete 1 single crochet. I'm going to place my stitch marker onto that single crochet Now we can move on to the next stitch right here. So we're actually going to be placing a double crochet in here, and how you make a double crochet is yarn over, insert our hook into that middle of our stitch all the way through like this. So instead of grabbing the yarn this way, I'm going through the middle of that V and going all the way through the white as well. So yarn over, pull up a loop, and now you should have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through first 2 loops, 1 and 2. Now you have 2 loops, yarn over and pull through all the way. So that's our first double crochet. So now we're going to place another double crochet into that same stitch. So we will have 2 double crochets into that one stitch. So again, yarn over, insert our hook into that same one that we just worked through. Yarn over, pull up a loop. So again, you have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, pull through 2. So we made an increase, which means we placed 2 stitches in one stitch. So we have 1 single crochet, we have 2 double crochets. Now we can move on. So the next stitch will also have 2 double crochets. So yarn over, insert into that next stitch, back loop only. So go through the middle of that V all the way through like that. Yarn over, pull up a loop. You have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So that's 1 double crochet. We need 1 more into that same stitch. So yarn over, insert, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through. For next stitch, we're going to be placing 1 single crochet. So insert your hook into that back loop only, so the middle, yarn over, pull up a loop. So you have 2 loops, yarn over, pull through. So the pattern for this row is 1 single crochet, 2 double, 2 double, 1 single. So now again, we will repeat the same thing. So next one will be 1 single, 2 double, 2 double, 1 single. So I will show you for this next petal as well. So insert your hook into that next stitch, back loop only, placing 1 single crochet. Next one, we have 2 double. So yarn over, insert, yarn over, pull up a loop. You have 3 loops, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. We need 1 more in that same stitch. So yarn over, insert, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through. Now we need another stitch with 2 double crochets. So yarn over into the next stitch and place 2 double crochets. Move on to the next stitch, which is just 1 single crochet. So just insert straight into that stitch, back loop only, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through. So we just repeated our pattern, which is 1 single, 2 double, 2 double, 1 single. So you just repeat this pattern and then I will meet you back here. So now we have completed this row and we're going to slip stitch to finish off again. So take out the stitch marker, insert your hook where the stitch marker was, yarn over, pull through all the way. And to start the next row, again, we're going to chain 1. And we're going to start with 1 single crochet, which will go in that same space where the slip stitch was. So insert your hook into that same stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through. So that is our first single crochet of this row. And again, we will mark that like so. So for this row, the pattern is 1 single, 1 single, 2 double, 2 double, 1 single, 1 single, like so. So we already did 1, so that's 1 single. Now we do 1 more into the next space. So insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through. Now we will do 2 double crochets into that next stitch. So we're doing an increase, so that's 1 double crochet, 1 more into that same space, insert, that's 2. We move on to the next stitch right here, place 2 double crochets into that next stitch. So this is 1 and 2. We can move on to the next stitch, placing 1 single crochet. Next stitch, 1 single crochet. I will do this petal with you and then you can continue the rest. So the pattern is 1 single, 1 single, 2 double, 2 double, 1 single, 1 single. So let's start into the next stitch, 1 single crochet. Next stitch, 1 single crochet. Next stitch, 2 double crochets. That's 1. That's 2. Again, next stitch, 2 double crochets. That's 1 and 2. Next stitch, 1 single crochet. Next stitch, 1 single crochet. So now you will repeat the same pattern all the way, and I will meet you back here again. So now I'm working on my last single crochet right here. And again, this is a slip stitch. That's a chain 1, so we don't place any stitches there. And this is a complete petal. So now we're going to start our last row and we're going to do the same thing. So take off the stitch marker, insert your hook into that stitch, yarn over, pull through all the way, making a slip stitch. So to start the last row, we're going to chain 1 and we're going to place our first single crochet into that same stitch. So insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. This is our first single crochet. So place the stitch marker back on. So the pattern for this last row is 1 single, 1 double, 1 double, 2 double, 2 double, 1 double, 1 double, 1 single. So we have our first single crochet. The next one is 1 double crochet. So yarn over, insert into that next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through. So that's 1 double crochet. Next stitch, 1 double crochet. Now we place an increase, so 2 double crochets into that next stitch. So yarn over, insert, that's 1. We need 1 more into that same stitch. So yarn over and insert. yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Next stitch, 2 double crochets, so insert, that's 1 double crochet, second one in the same stitch, next stitch, 1 double crochet, next stitch, 1 double crochet, and 1 single crochet. So I will do another petal with you. So the first stitch, 1 single crochet, next stitch, 1 double crochet, next stitch, 1 double crochet, next stitch, 2 double crochets, 1 and 2, next stitch, 2 double crochets, next stitch, 1 double crochet, next stitch, 1 double crochet, next stitch, 1 single crochet. So now you can continue the same pattern all the way around, and I will meet you back here. So I'm almost finished this row. So I have 1 double crochet left. And last 1 single crochet. Like so. And to finish off, I'm just going to take out the stitch marker. And again, we'll place a slip stitch. So pull through all the way. I will chain 1 and we can just cut off the yarn and just pull through. And also, if you turn it in the back, we have this white still attached, which we could have cut off before as well. So now we are left with these loose ends, and all we have to do is take our yarn needle and just hide them. So I will show you how to do one. So just put the tail on your yarn needle, and I will just turn in the back side and just go through any of these stitches. Go back and forth. So I will go through, for example, here, and just pull like this. Go through a few more and just pull. And you can also go back to secure it extra. Just skip the very last stitch you just went through so it doesn't unravel. So we're gonna go back this way and just pull. And once you feel like it's secure enough, you can just take your scissors again and cut it fully off, like so. And it's completely hidden. And do the same thing with all of these pieces. So just put it on your yarn needle, hide it throughout the blue, take the white, hide it throughout the white. You have your little coaster, and you can make any colors that you want. And just remember, if you're going to use this as a coaster for like hot drinks, just make sure your yarn is cotton and not acrylic. But yeah, here's your little flower coaster.